Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the Crypto Weekly Analysis Volume 6. Again, we're going to be discussing some of our thoughts for the up and coming weeks for cryptocurrency in general. So what we looked at last week was pretty much price to make its way towards the upside, or we're going to be expecting price to make its way to its downside. So what we can see here is that we've had price pretty much slowly push up higher and higher. I don't think that price has the ability to push lower just yet. What I feel like we need to do is we need to see price push up just once more, and so whether that we take out this high or we stay within this range, we could be looking at a potential sell-off in general. But what we need to see happen is for price to come down into this range, and ideally what we could expect is price to stay within this range here and have some sort of spike towards the upside. And that's why, as I was mentioning before through last week, that we see price push up higher into this zone area here, so within this box range, and it's pretty much to cover this area here of the market where we've got this downtrend here and also this outer downtrend as well. So within this range we could expect some price manipulation. So I'm thinking that 40k is a nice psychological number that we could be expecting price to turn over, but I wouldn't be surprised if we can get to 42. Recently 42 has been quite a good level where price hasn't been, but it has been it has been rejected multiple times. So I'm just going to keep this annotation here. So now that we expect price to pretty much go up, I'm not saying it will definitely go into this range, but we want to see price pretty much stay within this motion where price is just ascending up. So if we see that price is within this channel, where do we see price go if we start to see a break towards the downside, which is where this long-term projection comes in. And that's personally where I think price can continue to push lower. So my alternative scenario is that price is still going to push lower and it's still going to take lower lows, and I'm thinking that we could get into the 20k mark. I'm not saying it will definitely get into here and then rally, but I think that as time goes on and weeks go on that we're talking about this and watching price do its thing with Bitcoin, it will be wise to monitor how price action performs once we get lower than 28k, which is where we've been talking about for the last week or so. And critically taking out this low would be a very good significant point that price action is still wanting to push lower. So the scenario that we could be looking at is something like this, where we continue to make lower lows, etc., like so. And then we could potentially head into the 20k region. So ultimately what I'm still thinking with Bitcoin is that we're still bearish. We may have some temporary swings towards the upside to potentially manipulate this area again with this downtrend. Remember here, connecting this point from the 10th of May to the 15th of June, and then the higher time frame from the 14th of April to the 9th of May. So we're connecting these two ranges and we created this ray. So within this space we could expect price to push up and then drop down. So something along those lines that could be possible, but ultimately we don't really care too much about that, because where I want price to go and where I think price can go is to break this low. So the other thing is that it doesn't have to spike up as much as I say it will. Price could simply start to turn over right now and then drop off, or it could just go up a little bit and then drop off. So pretty much in this red area. But again, I'm personally not trading this on an intraday level or swing day trading this. I know some people are. I'm taking this as a long-term investment, so this is where my style of trading is going to be with Bitcoin and with cryptocurrencies anyway. So yeah, moving on to the other coins. So kind of get this logic in, because this is how it's going to reflect on the other pairs as well. So if we take a look at Ripple, what we spoke about last week was a price to potentially push up. So as we can see, we've got some sort of movement towards the upside, and we're still adamant that we're looking for a downside move. So whether that price wants to still continue to move up and then push lower, that's definitely something that we could be expecting. So you know, could look at something like this. I'm actually going to get rid of the upside candle. So what I'm going to just focus on for this week is we're either going to get price to push low straight from this high, or we'll get price to push up higher once more and then drop off lower. And they're the two scenarios that you know we could be looking out for this week, or eventually over the next few weeks. So again, it's not about what will happen at definitely this week, because it takes a lot of price action to even move all the way to break a low, never mind going up just a little bit. You know, there's a lot of good 100 pips moves, 1000 pip moves in cryptocurrencies. Again, it depends if you're long-term trading this or short-term. So we could expect price to make some sort of dip soon, or we'll get price to push up and then drop off it, and we're aiming for price to take out this low here. So I still think that, like I said, with Bitcoin, I still think it has the ability to push lower, just like Bitcoin does. So you know, it's going to reflect majority on all of the pairs, as you do so know. So looking at Cardano, so yeah, again, similar story. We are still waiting for price to take its way to the downside, potentially coming to the $1 range or lower, even to the 90 cents. So we're still seeing price move sideways, like so. So you know, potential, you know, in short term, you know, you could watch that. Put it in a fainter color just because it's not as, you know, it's likely to be easily manipulated. But ultimately, we want price to break this low. Again, I'm going to get rid of the upside opportunity just because it's quite ambiguous. So yeah, pretty much we are waiting for price to break this low. Really, that's all I wanted to discuss, and then we can get into the opportunity where, you know, we could see potential price action to do this in the long run. But that is, again, I am bullish for most of the altcoins. It's just waiting for price to completely exhaust to the downside before it makes logical sense to take a buy. So yeah, we're just waiting for price to do what it needs to do, and again, it's tying in that Bitcoin dominance that, you know, if Bitcoin is dropping, we should see the reflection in that through the other coins. So we can see prices dropping off. Once Bitcoin starts to drop off, then we should see a possible decline in the other pairs. So again, that's why I'm adding into that conclusion that we could get price to reach the dollar mark, but in a much deeper sense. And then we can start to look in a bit more clearer detail of when we could expect that turnaround soon. So not anytime soon though, definitely for sure. So we'll have to wait for that. So coming into Litecoin. So Litecoin, similar story. You know, we could be waiting for price to turn over soon. But again, I'll be waiting for price to potentially make one more move lower. In my opinion, for this pair, I feel like if we break above the 65k mark, this could be the point where price just starts to rocket up. So that could be, for me, this is the turning point where I think price could make a good move or momentum push towards the upside. So I think that if we get above this point, we should be bullish, and there should be some sort of bullish momentum in play from here on. But for now, I'm thinking that price has the ability to push lower, and if we can see that there's no divergence yet, you know, price making its way lower, it should create some sort of divergence. So that would look something like this, like so, and then we could draw something like that. So this would hold true if price breaks lower than this peak here. So that's what that will look like. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for also. So yeah, last two pairs, Ethereum, similar story. Again, we're waiting for that drop off. So something like so, potentially coming into 1400 mark. You can see price, you know, really respecting this downtrend so far. Again, the manipulations around this area. So we will have this empty space in the future. Potential form of resistance at 3k. So again, if price breaks above this, we could expect some sharp activity towards the upside. But yeah, most likely I believe that we still have that ability to push lower, even into the 1400 mark. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that one too. Again, if you notice that there's nothing too special right now, we're just waiting for this exhaustion Again, if you are a seller on the market, you should be making some good profits on this, but again, it's just all in due time. So yeah, finally we're looking at Dogecoin. So we can see that we've had that spike up. We've still had that potential break of this downtrend here. I do think that this is still stale. It's not exactly impulsive as you'd like to see it. So I'm not convinced that this is the one that we should get that push. So also adding in with the Bitcoin dominance, it kind of makes sense that this probably just is a fake out and the manipulation of this downtrend here. So what we could expect then is price to either continue to push up higher just a little bit and then drop off. So that's where we want to see price come into here, and then once we start to break this low, then we could expect price to come into the 10 cents range and watch it cripple or trickle lower and lower. So majority of these pairs that we've all discussed so far is pretty much we're waiting for every single low to be taken out, and then after that, my opinion is that we should be able to start to see and get ourselves prepared for the next long-term projected move, in the sense that once Bitcoin starts to make that rally, we should also expect all the other coins to do a similar thing. So again, it's a very long-waited thing. Obviously, this does require patience, with especially with any investment, but crypto. I've noticed that if you're a long-term investor, it's better to completely exhaust all the options against you before you start to consider taking some positions towards the upside. So I do think that there is a possibility of price pushing lower with all of the altcoins due to the Bitcoin dominance so far. So until we start to see some Bitcoin pressure applying towards the upside, we should be able to see that being reflected into the altcoins. And then if we do, and we don't get those breaks on the lower time, on the lows that we've talked about so far in the other altcoins, then we'll have to discuss some potential opportunities for potentially getting in and not missing out on the move. So I equally don't want to miss out, and obviously FOMO does cripple in as time continues to expand. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks or so. It may be another boring week, but yeah, we'll see, and hopefully if we start to see those lows being broken, then we can just discuss looking into potential buying opportunities. So that will be all from us. If you are interested in joining our trading group, that link is in the description. That one is more for Forex though. And if you have any other comments, feel free to leave that comment in the comment section below. So that will be all from us. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you all in our next video.